born on October 12, 1963. From the time he was a baby until he was a toddler beginning school, he grew up in Vernal, Utah. Lane moved with his family to Oklahoma when he was a teenager. Lane's parents were Clyde and Elsie Frost, and they could tell from a young age that Lane was destined to become a bull rider. His dad, Clyde, was involved in rodeo. Lane and his mother would go to rodeos to support his dad. He was a bronc rider and he roped calves. As a child, Lane was not interested in the events his father was involved in. Often he would even sleep through those events. Lane only cared about the bull riding. If his mother would make him leave a rodeo before the bull riding, little Lane would cry and throw a fit. His mother said, "It always amazed me. We couldn't figure out why, but as soon as the bull riding started, his eyes popped open wide and he looked around." His sister Robin Mugley added, "We could never understand it. We could never identify why he was attracted to something when he couldn't even talk, but Lane was interested in riding bulls from day one." Lane's family saw the love he had for bull riding from a very early age. They thought that Lane might even want to make bull riding his career. His mother wished that he would have liked one of the less dangerous rodeo events, but Lane's interest wasn't. Lane's dad said that that's all he's ever wanted to be. That was his wish from the time he was little. It was him wanting to. We didn't force him. We tried to discourage it even. We'd rather he'd been a banker, a lawyer, or something. It was no big deal. We didn't discourage him severely. We were just hoping, well, it's a tough life. Lane made bull riding a priority in his life as a child and teen. He gave up playing sports on Little League so that he would have more time to practice riding bulls and going to. Lane made the decision not to drink and smoke. He didn't even drink pop. He wanted to be as healthy as possible in order to be the best bull rider he could.
Lane from Quanah, Texas, has the Rocker Bull LE. Talk about sentimental favorites. This young man could be one of them as well.
Oh, look at here. Now, he rode 9 out of 10 last year. All right.
Listen to this crowd, Bob. They're loving it. I told you he's a sentimental favorite here.
It's a great bull. The bull went a few jumps before he really turned back and got the spinning real hard, but I think he's going to have a good score. And again, you got to remember that Lane came into second place here, rode 9 out of 10 last year. He thinks he can win it. All right, let's watch the bull.
He's long overdue for a world championship. A few years ago, the high school champion, and I talked to him a little bit earlier. He said he knew this bull was going to spin, and if he could get tapped off and ride him for 8 seconds, he could ride him all day.
Well, he did it, too. That Cotton Rosser bull is actually traveling down the arena while he's spinning, too.
82.
Lane once described why he enjoyed bull riding so much. It's a challenge of you against something so much bigger and stronger than you. He said, "It reminds me a lot of the Christians and the lions. The meanest bull, the one no one believes can be ridden, is the one I want. I just like to see who can come out on top, see who's tough." Lane started his career at the age of 10. His family had a dairy farm, and he decided to start riding the calves. This is a picture of Lane with a man named Freckles Brown. Freckles Brown was a world champion, and he taught Lane. Through his teenage years, Lane competed in many rodeos. He won the state bull riding competition 3 of the 4 years he was in high school. He also won the Youth National Finals in 1982 and the PRCA Rookie of the Year in 1983. PRCA stands for the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. In 1983, when he was 19 years old, Lane became a professional bull rider and earned 16th in the PRCA. The top 15 riders went on to the National Finals Rodeo, so he was only one placing away. 1983 was the only year that Lane did not make it to the National Finals Rodeo in the time he had being a professional bull rider. In 1984, he qualified for his first National Finals Rodeo. He continued to qualify for the National Finals Rodeo every single year after that until he died. He was a world champion in 1980. Frost was also in the Olympics during the first year that the rodeo was a part of the Olympics. That year, the Winter Olympics were held in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The American team won a gold medal together that year, and Frost earned a bronze medal on his own. Another highlight of Frost's career was riding a bull named Red Rock. 309 times people had attempted to ride that bull and none of them had been successful. Lane rode that bull 4 of the 7 times they met. Lane began to share his knowledge and talent of bull riding in 1985 when he began teaching others. Lane always remembered when he wanted to speak to a bull rider he looked up to when he was little, but he was ignored by the man he looked up to. Lane never wanted to be like that, so he made a point to always make time to talk to his fans, especially the young bull riders that looked up. Lane had many friends in the rodeo circuit. One of his best rodeo friends was Tuff Hedeman. They traveled around to rodeos together. Tuff was involved in rodeo from the time he was very young, just like Lane. He was involved in bull riding, saddle bronc riding, steer wrestling, and team roping. Tuff and Lane spent a lot of time together and they were very close. Lane was also good friends with a man named Cody Lambert. Those 3 often went to the same rodeos and traveled around together. In 1989, Lane was not riding his best. He was having a lot of off days and a rough patch in his career, just like a lot of professional athletes will experience. But about 10 days before the Cheyenne Frontier Days rodeo, he began to have good rides again. Lane's fans expected him to keep up the good rides and improve his season. They were rooting for him to get back to doing what they knew he could do. Lane Frost was killed at 3:59 p.m. on July 30th, 1989. He rode a bull named Taking Care of Business and had a ride that put him in third place at the Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He dismounted and had a good landing on his hands and knees. Then the bull came at Lane and drove his horns into him. Others who saw the wreck said that they had seen wrecks much worse than how this one appeared to be, and the rider came out fine with possibly a few cuts or bruises. Lane wasn't so lucky. The blow from the bull's horns is thought to have broken ribs that went into Lane's heart. He got up and alerted the others that he needed help, but then fell back down to the dirt and died quickly as the other riders and Wrangler said that his life and death changed rodeo forever. Lane was not wearing a protective vest at the time of his death. Vests weren't seen as something cool to wear, so not many people wore them during this time. The style during this time was to wear only chaps and a hat for bull riding, no protective equipment. Riders often thought that nothing would happen to them, and they didn't think that protective vests were important. The choice not to wear anything to protect themselves left the bull riders without a barrier between their bodies and the strength of the bull, and left them at a much higher chance of getting seriously hurt or killed. If Lane had had on a vest or something to protect himself from an accident such as this, Lane Santos Kearney, who is the West Coast student director at the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association, believes that he would still be alive today.
Every now and again, a guy will get in a bind and he'll take a shot to the ribs or the back or maybe even the stomach.
Material in rodeo industry hasn't changed in 20 years, 20 plus years. The physics are the same. The science and technology has changed immensely over the last 20 years. It's time to bring something new into the industry.
They had this material that we really got very excited about. It had the nature of being flexible, yet be able to take a hit, return to its natural form, maintain everything. It had a lot of really great things going for it, so we thought that this would be a perfect market for that particular material.
Most other solid vests are hard plastic and you lose a lot of mobility. This vest, you can still move in it. When you take a shot, the impact's going to spread more because it's a solid piece.
As a bull rider, to feel protected is one thing. You know, you got to get past that mentality of it whenever you're getting on. But to be protected is another thing. I've been bucked off and I've been hooked 3 times with the vest on. It absorbed the impact so well, I didn't feel a thing.
Lane's death changed how bull riding is done. He was an inspiration to many people, and his family, friends, and fans were all very sad and heartbroken to see or hear of his tragic death, especially knowing that it might have been prevented. Many young bull riders looked up to Lane, and his life and death influenced the way bull riding was done. He left an impact on the next generation and their safety, along with the skills that he had that he passed on to others. Since Lane's death likely could have been avoided by wearing a vest, people began to accept that safety equipment such as this should not only be accepted but encouraged. After his death, more bull riders from the beginners to the professionals began to wear vests. This is what one of the vests looked like that the riders began to wear after Lane's death. Wearing vests such as this helps to keep the riders safe. One of Lane's closest friends that he went to rodeos with, Cody Lambert, made a vest that protected bull riders from the impact it can have on the rider's body if they are attacked by the bull before they can get away after their ride. Lambert is also a founder of the PBR, or the Professional Bull Riders. In the beginning, the bull riding vests used Kevlar. Now they are using what is called next-gen gear. This has fibers in it that are stronger than steel called Spectra Shield. There is also a foam in the vest, along with the tear-resistant material, that spreads out the force of blows to the rider's body. This allows it to lower the amount of a direct force from the bull to the rider. Times have changed, and now with a greater understanding of bull riding accidents such as Lane's, it is a rule that the riders in the PBR wear the vests in order to prevent more tragedies like what happened to Lane. Bull riding vests have also become more accepted and more frequently worn in the PRCA, or the Pro Rodeo Cowboy Association. It is estimated that about 75% of professional bull riders now wear vests while riding. This also influences the younger generations of high school, middle school, or even younger bull riders to also wear protective vests.
Pretty good. Come on, Preston.
Vests such as this run for about $425. They come in a variety of sizes and colors to suit each rider. There is protection even behind the zipper on this vest to make sure that the entire area of the rider's body covered by the vest is protected from the force of the bull. There are different areas on the vest that can be adjusted to fit each person's body. Along with vests becoming more popular after Lane's death, helmets have too. In 2013, it became a rule in the PBR that anyone who was 19 years of age or younger had to wear a helmet while riding. If the rider was older, they were still allowed to choose to wear that or a cowboy hat. The helmets are a little bit like the helmets used in hockey and are designed to protect the head, face, and jaw. Good helmets such as this run for about $500. Today, over half of the riders in the PBR choose to wear helmets. Other protective equipment riders use are gloves and chaps. The glove will protect their hand from the bull rope, and the chaps give their legs a little bit of protection. Lane's death made an impact in the world of rodeo. Accidents such as this proved that protective equipment was necessary. That knowledge led to protective equipment being more accepted, encouraged, and at times even required. Because of this, many riders' lives have been saved and many wrecks were not as devastating as they could have been.
Good ride, Preston.
Lane Frost was killed on July 30th, 1989, doing what he loved. He had a lasting impact on the sport of bull riding and continues to be an inspiration for young bull riders today. His passion for the sport encouraged others to follow in his footsteps. Lane was and continues to be one of the most famous rodeo competitors. After his death, his friend Tuff Hedeman wanted to do something in his memory. Tuff was in the 10th round of the NFR in 1989, the year that Lane was killed. After he successfully rode his bull, he stayed on longer than he had to as an honor of Lane. Tuff said, "It was the only time I've gotten off a bull with tears running down my face."
In 1989, Tuff Hedeman posted one of the most dramatic 10th round rides in NFR history when he rode his last draw past the whistle and then fanned the animal with his hat in memory of his friend and world champion Lane Frost, who was killed in a bull riding mishap earlier that year in Cheyenne.
Lane's wife, Kelly, was also devastated by his death. After he passed away, she went through a time of grieving. She said that her faith and trust in God helped her get through that difficult time. She is eventually remarried to Mike Macy, who is also involved in rodeo. They now live on a ranch in Texas. Kelly once said, "God has a totally different plan that never totally turns out the way we think it's going to." There is a movie called 8 Seconds made about Lane's life that honors and continues his legacy. The movie features big events in his career as well as his personal life and relationships with his friend Tuff Hedeman and Cody Lambert, family, and his wife Kelly. One area of Frost's life that was not highlighted in the movie was his faith. Frost decided to become a Christian about a year before he died. His mother Elsie wished that the filmmakers would have included this part of Lane's life as it was very important to him. Lane is remembered for his bright and caring personality as well as his talents in bull riding. He always made time for fans, especially young fans that looked up to him. Lane felt that it was important to help the next group of bull riders learn. He wanted to give back to the sport that he loved and help others learn how to be successful. Lane is also remembered for his constant drive to get better and improve himself. He was one of the best in bull riding, but he always worked on improving himself and making himself a better rider. Lane Frost changed the sport of bull riding and continues to inspire fans today.